And welcome once again to a shitload of sports. We're doing this in the early morning. That's why I sound like a shitload right now. But
yeah, we took a shitload.
Hopefully, Keefus in the wet spot for the entire MLB preview, of course.
Right.
Keefus, how are you feeling this morning?
The wet spot's wet, but it's getting close to opening day, so it's starting to warm up outside. So I think I'm feeling good.
Play ball, almost.
Almost play ball. We're almost there. A few days away.
We're recording this on a Monday, and on Thursday this week is play ball. So,
absolutely.
Without any further ado, we finished the junior circuit. Let's get over to the senior circuit, and we're going to start in the opposite direction that we did the East first in the AL. We're going to be doing the NL West first on this program.
And we're going to start with the three-time champions recently, the San Francisco Giants. Hello, Fresco.
Chris Russo's favorite team.
Oh,
my Giants. But
I met them in a Philadelphia hotel. They signed all my autographs. I was hooked.
The team that used to play on Coogan's Bluff.
On Coogan's Bluff.
Yes, in the
right across
Harlem.
Right off the Harlem River.
Yeah, it's a housing project now, just like the Polo Grounds is, but we are getting off subject. Let's get back to the present day San Francisco Giants, baseball Giants.
Who have one of the nicest stadiums. I actually stood outside it. I've never been inside it, but I stood outside it, and it's just beautiful from the outside. So from the inside, I can imagine it's absolutely gorgeous.
I've never seen it that close because I had my face in a pillow last time I was in San Francisco.
Ooga, ooga,
ooga. Jesus Christ. MSM, guys. Come on. Give me a fucking break.
There it is.
We're going to just race through fucking bullshit previews and bore you to death.
No.
Got to talk about guys getting fucked in the ass.
Hard.
Speaking of getting fucked in the ass, the Giants, for the past few years, seemed like they were, after they had so much good success, they seemed to take a little dip, but they made some good off-season moves this year, right?
They did. They picked up Evan Longoria. They went and got their hero, Pablo Sandoval, back.
That's
after
right.
He signed with the Red Sox.
What a bust he was in Boston, man.
Yeah, and he didn't sell himself to the crowd in Boston or anywhere else in the MLB because he gained, I think, 30 more pounds from what he already was.
He was already fat.
Yeah, so, I mean, he went in there looking like Pete and Cavilla.
Yeah.
And I think striking out just as much.
And the panda was more like a hippopotamus.
Yeah, it was like a rhinoceros. So, but I digress again with, talking about the Giants. The first thing we have to talk about is recently Madison Bumgarner broke his left pinky.
Just over the wire to the teletype this morning.
Yes, it came over that, and the asbestos stock is down.
Yes. So their ace, left-hander Madison Bumgarner, got a broken left pinky. So
they're putting pins in it, and they're talking about 6 to 8 weeks.
That's a tough one.
That is a big one. So we're going to go around the horn with them, but you'll see once we get to the pitching staff.
That's a hole.
There is a hole, and Madison Bumgarner is a big hole. So catcher, they're locked in. Buster Posey, perennial all-star.
Great player.
He's one of the best catchers, if not the best catcher in the major leagues.
Both ways.
First base, they got Brandon Belt, who they kind of were expecting more from, but he seems to be coming into his own a little bit. Joe Panik, St. John's product, is at second base. Joe Panik was a hero, one of their World Series wins.
Nobody panic.
Yeah, nobody panicked for Joe Panik. He hit he was a light hitter, but he hit a home run for them, a big home run for them in the World Series a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Third base is their free agent pickup, Evan Longoria, who obviously everybody knows about with the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll see what he does in San Francisco.
A little bit of a decline at this stage of his career.
Sure, absolutely, but you never know, because look, Verlander was on a decline, and look what he did. So
it's true, he was. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe this will give Evan Longoria a little life. He'll have a lot of protection. Shortstop, they have Brandon Crawford, who's a steady defender, not too hot with the bat, but a steady defender. Hunter Pence, who has one of the wildest swings in baseball. He dips down to his knees and then throws the bat at the ball, but he's successful.
Yeah.
He hits. He'll be playing left. Austin Jackson, former Yankee prospect coming up, who was traded for Curtis Granderson to the Tigers, is going to be in center field. And another free agent pickup will be in right field. Andrew McCutchen from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Another guy who was on a decline, but like you said, maybe a change of scenery. I mean, the Pirates
More
had that
protection.
little window
Yeah,
of they
they
made the
did.
playoffs a couple of years, but they never had the money to put into that team. McCutchen was their only star for a long time.
And they never had the pitching.
Never had the pitching, and now he's not playing center, which he was
Right.
with Pittsburgh. He's playing right,
playing
so less
right,
ground
so-
to cover.
But actually, less ground, but with that 420 angle or
goofy
439
outfield.
or whatever it is in right center field.
Tough carom.
It's there's gonna be he's gonna be short down the right field line at 309, but he's
Yeah.
gonna be in right center. He's gonna have a lot of room, but he's just something to get used to.
His sign, win, suit type of arrangement in that outfield.
Yeah. For starting staff, as we mentioned, Baumgartner's out, so I guess that makes Johnny Cueto their ace. He's
Postseason experience.
Absolutely. Jeff Zamaja, former Notre Dame product, is
Nice
a
football player.
Very good football player.
Wide receiver, yeah.
Yeah. Ty Block, who they're kind of, is a youngster. They're kind of hoping, will take up some of the slack from Baumgartner, and Chris Stratton will be their starters. The closer is Mark Melancon, who's,
He's been there.
yeah, he's been there for a while. He's a steady guy. And the relievers are not bad players. They don't have any, big time guys, in the bullpen, a la the Royals did, the Yankees, the Red Sox. But they're going to be all right. I think the problem with the Giants is we're going to see where this goes with Baumgartner.
Totally different preview
Yeah.
if he's being talked about starting opening day.
If he's starting opening day and he's not missing the first 2 months of the season, there's a possibility that they're gonna, challenge for the division.
Of course, and I think they'll make a move. They'll get a veteran starter. Maybe the Mets have a surplus. You never know. They want to get Zach Wheeler back. We'll talk about him in a little bit. And Ali's show, but he was optioned down to AAA.
Right,
He had a real lousy
He
spring.
doesn't want it. So
You never know. So I think the Giants we'll talk about at the end of the finish the division where they're gonna. But I think they're still be in good shape. Not as good shape as they could be.
And I'm going to move to a team which I think will challenge for the division. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks had a pretty decent year last year.
Yeah.
They never
Goldsmith's just a fucking stud.
They didn't make it. They didn't make it as far as they wanted to, but they played. They played well above, I think, was their potential last year, and I think this year with the pieces that they've added and the experience that they got, I think that they're going to be, definitely challenging the Dodgers for the top spot. So. At catcher, they have Alex Avila, who they've had for a long time. They also have on their bench John Ryan Murphy, for all you Yankee fans. Remember him? J.R. Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
He was a backup catcher for the Yankees for a while. That was traded when they wound up trading Aroldis Chapman. Actually, when they traded Phil Hughes to the Twins, they wound up trading J.R. Murphy up there. J.R. Murphy had a cup of coffee with the Twins, and he's picked up now with the Diamondbacks. First baseman Goldschmidt, and he's going to be in the MVP candidate.
Yeah.
He's going to be first base all-star. He's going to hit driving 100 runs. He's going to hit 300. And he's going to hit 30 home runs. Ketel Marte is their second baseman, youngster. They like him. Chris Owings is the backup.
Owings been around for a long time.
Yeah, Jake Lamb, quality third baseman, good hitter.
Not to be confused with Mike Lamb, a third baseman in Texas Rangers about 20-some years ago, right?
Who was supposed to take over for Boone. They signed to take over for Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone got hurt until the A-Rod deal went through. So.
Trivia.
And not to be confused with Dennis Lamp.
No, the pitcher, right-handed pitcher. Chicago Cubs and White Sox.
And Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Nick Ahmed is their shortstop. He's been there for a while. Their left fielder is David Peralta. Their center fielder, A.J. Pollock, who's been on the team for a while. Right fielder, former Tampa Bay Rays, Steven Swauza Jr. or Steven Sousa Jr., depending on how you pronounce that Z. He's been, he was actually a big pickup for them because he's very versatile in he can play all positions in the outfield, and he can hit, he can run, he can throw. So he's like a 5-tool guy, not a huge power guy, but he's going to be a
good
nice
guy to
pickup.
have on the roster.
Definitely a good ball player. Their pitching is definitely a strength. They have Greinke, Robbie Ray, who's a youngster coming up. Patrick Corbin, another youngster, Zach Godley and Taiwan Walker, all youngsters, all good staff. They're going to be they're going to be solid, and they're going to be solid for a long time if they keep Greinke and they can keep these guys.
So Greinke's kind of like the graybeard by default, even though he's not old.
He's not that old. He's in his early 30s.
Yeah.
But he's the leader
with
of the
this
staff.
bunch. Yeah.
This is a good staff. This is a very, very good staff. So, relief pitching, they have Jorge De La Rosa. That's a familiar name. T.J. McFarland. Brad Boxberger, not the box that we like, but just a regular Boxberger. And the closers, Archie Bradley, who I don't think he's going to be. He might not be penciled in the whole year as they close. They might got closer with a committee, depending on how he is.
Well, somebody gets the hot hand.
Yeah, I think they're set to do great things in 2018. I really do. I think that they can challenge the Dodgers for the division. But I think their big problem is that they have to play the Dodgers so much, and they have to play the Giants.
19 games, divisional, I think it is.
And I think and might as well let's just go right to the Dodgers right now.
Yeah. Reigning pennant, NL pennant winners last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're not skipping a beat, and they're not really losing anything. They're coming back pretty much with the same core. I don't see a letdown. But that being said, the other teams in the division are getting better.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a harder road for them to get to the top, but they'll be right there with the rest of them. Catcher is Yasmani Grandal. First base, Clay Bellinger's superstar son, Cody Bellinger, who's,
He really came around.
He really did. Yeah, will there be a sophomore slump? Who knows? But,
he had a nice October, too.
I don't think so, yeah.
Became a household name throughout the playoffs in the World Series last year, Bellinger. He played great.
And that home run derby didn't hurt him either. He had that great home run derby.
Yeah.
Logan Forsythe, former Tampa Bay Ray, is going to be at second. Former Met Justin Turner plays third for the.
He's banged
LA
up now.
He's a little banged up,
but he'll be back. And I think he was. I don't know if he was put on the 15-day or whatever, but he'll start the season on the shelf.
Corey, no relation to the communist folk singer Pete Seeger, is playing shortstop.
Yes, fuck that guy. By the way, fuck the other one too. He's on the
Corey
Dodgers.
Seager brothers Kyle is on Seattle. This is another good ball player. Jock Peterson plays left field. Now, Jock Peterson's weird because he's another low-average, high home run guy.
Yeah.
But, he's a good young player. They have Chris Taylor playing center, Yasiel Puig, who can, You
had to see him last night. I was watching that game last night with Puig. And this is a guy who was almost gone. He was in the fucking minors. He was hitting 200 a couple of years ago. He was basically wanted out. And then he came back, and then, like you say, he is like very similar to Cespedes. He's played similar physique, similar power and all of that.
I don't know if it's the Cuban way that they kind of take a year off and then they come back and have a monster year and then take a year off.
He looked good last. I was watching the exhibition game last night.
Talent-wise, there's really no comparison. I mean, him and Cespedes, when they're on, they're on.
Yeah,
they get hot quick.
Pugh can carry a team when he's got that hot streak going. He'll just hit fucking dingers all the time.
Backing them up in the outfield, they brought Matt Kemp back. So,
and that's a good move for them. Kemp's been bounced around since he left them. Big fan favorite with LA.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was a low risk maneuver bringing him back. I'm sure he's getting minimum or whatever. So,
and he had some great seasons in LA.
Oh, he was. His best days were with the Dodgers. Yeah. So it's nice to see him come back there, and they'll find at bats for him out in the outfield.
I think so. That's their lineup, and that's not even their strength. Their strength is right here. They're 1, 2, 3.
Solid on the staff.
Clayton Kershaw, modern day Sandy Koufax. He really is.
Opening day starter again as usual.
Rich Hill, great starter. Would be a number one on 50% of the major league teams out there. Alex Wood, another great starter. Kenta Maeda, pretty decent, and Hyunjin Ryu. Who? Yeah, exactly.
You can't say that with a slice of pizza in your hand.
They have high hopes for Mr. Ryu. They really do. High hopes for Mr. Ryu.
Sounds like the name of a children's story.
Their closers, Kenley Jansen, possibly the best one in baseball. Yeah. Him and Chapman and Kimbrel, 1, 2, 3 somewhere. Their bullpen's not terrible. Josh Fields, Pedro Baez, Scott Alexander. So they're there. I mean, it's essentially you're keeping the same team together.
What worked for you last year?
Yeah.
They're expecting to work for them again this year.
Yeah. So, I think that they'll be, they'll be right there, top one, if not two, and we'll see. So let's move a little bit east of the West, and let's go to the high offense Colorado Rockies.
Coors Field advantage.
And they don't have a bad team, but they just can't get their pitching squared away. I don't know if it's the stadium. I don't know if
that's always been the thing with them. A lot of pitchers didn't want to come there.
Right.
Big name guys.
But the offense, is outstanding there. Chris Ionetta is their catcher. He's been around a while. Ryan McMahon's a youngster at first. They have Ian Desmond backing him up in case it doesn't work out.
From the Washington, Desmond.
High average hitting, DJ LeMahieu, very Carew-like, with a high average, not many home runs, not many RBIs.
Yeah,
but,
contact, spray.
Great hitter. Nolan Arenado, possible MVP candidate, playing third base for them. Big home runs, big high average. Trevor Story, another home run guy.
He was the guy.
He was the guy 2 years ago that started with
Story. No pun intended. Was he was just like it was almost like it was perfectly scripted.
A meteoric rise.
Yeah.
Much like Wally Joyner in the 1986-87 season.
Yeah.
Gerardo Parra is in left field. Chris Blackman had an unbelievable offensive year last year. Hit about, I think he hit close to 340 or 330,
It's insane to hit that high.
Cargo is in right field. Cargo has dropped off since Carlos Gonzalez,
I have a few of his pants and shorts.
Yeah, you have. Do they still fit?
Yes, they do.
Good, that's good. So, because they got to be a little bit old.
Yeah.
He's dropped off a touch. But he could still come around and have a great offensive season. Yeah. So there's your offense right there. I mean,
it's not world beating, but it'll be competitive.
They're going to put up numbers that are going to look that make other teams look, juvenile. But the problem is they just don't get the wins. They just
a lot of crooked numbers given up both ways. For and against. So then we'll find out why it's against now with their starting staff. Now, right?
John Gray is their number one starter. Chad Bettis, Tyler Anderson, Herman Marquez, who decent run last year, and Kyle Freeland. So they're going with young guys.
Yeah.
These aren't big names, but, if they could pull it together, we'll see what happens. They have Jake McGee in their dugout, in their bullpen with Mike Dunn. Adam Ottavino is the name, actually. Chris Rusin. So those guys, those are names you might know. So they have a decent bullpen. Wade Davis is their closer. He's been around. He was an Astro for a while. Converted starter from the Astros.
He was on the Royals too.
The Royals, yeah.
So they're also Rans.
Yeah, I think they're also Rans.
Speaking of also Rans, we got the San Diego Padres. Beautiful place to play, but you're not going to see a lot of fucking wins.
They haven't been good in a long. It's a shame because they have great fans. The fans just lost their NFL football team. Not that you talk about that.
Fuck the NFL.
But they. I think it's a great fan base, and I think they deserve a winning team. Catcher, they're going to go with Austin Hedges. Their starter with A.J. Ellis backing them up. They did make an off-season move, and they got Hosmer to play first base. So they did
from the Royals
take Hosmer from the Royals. They signed him to a one-year deal. Incentive laden. So we'll see, like a Moustakas deal. So we'll see what happens there. Carlos Aswag and Corey Spainberger are going to be playing second base, but they also have Will Myers on their bench too, who might offset first and second to back up. Former Yankee Chase Headley has signed a deal there to play third base.
He used to be with them at one time.
Yeah, he started with the Padres. Yeah. Freddie Galvis is their shortstop. He's been around a while. Left field is Jose Perella. Center field is Manuel Margot.
That's Carl Margot.
Yes. Right field is Will Myers, and Hunter Renfroe will be sharing time. Now their starting pitching is Clayton Richard, Tyson Ross, Brian Mitchell, Dinelson Lamet, and Luis Perdomo.
Nothing there at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fucking repeat those names, let alone tell you I knew
Young
who the
guys,
fuck they were the first time
they're
around.
giving them a shot. Let's see what happens, and they're high on them obviously because they're starting them. But
Well, it's fucking low cost. They're obviously not a big market team. They don't sign a lot of big free agents. They picked the one name they got. They got him on a cheap 1-year deal because nobody else was. The collusion worked.
Right? Yeah. Essentially, they did. Yeah, it did.
Who's their pen?
Their pen, Craig Stamen, not the stamen that you pollinate.
Oh,
Different stamen. Jordan Lyles, Phil Montone, and their closer has a great name, Brad Hand, because if he closes a game, back page of the paper, Hand does the job.
Oh, I was going to say hand job.
Hand does
Which
the
I
job.
enjoy, by the way. Baby oil beat-offs at home a lot. Thank you, Mrs. Joe.
So that's the West.
All right, so who are we saying is going to win it? And is there any wild card out of it?
Absolutely. I think the Dodgers win it. I think that depending on Baumgartner coming back, I think San Francisco can get the wild card. And if San Francisco doesn't get the wild card, and Baumgartner stays out and San Francisco disappoints, I think it's the Arizona Diamondbacks to take.
Okay. I'm going to say Dodgers win the division and no wild cards come out of this. I think the Giants have a big problem with Baumgartner. I don't even know if I would have picked them to be winning the wild card. I think they would be in the wild card race. I have a feeling that their pickups are all over the hill and yesterday's news. Mm-hmm. I think they were smart pickups because you got to take chances like that. They kind of retooled a little bit. They didn't rebuild. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's going to work. I have no faith in Arizona being a contender. I think they'll hang around. But once we hit the dog days of August, you know what happens then. A lot of the real teams step up and the posers fucking fade away. So I think it's going to be at the end of the year. It's going to look close, maybe 3/4 through the year. But by the end of the year, LA is going to win this division, possibly by 9 or 10 games. And I don't think we'll see. And then you'll hear my wild card picks in the other divisions, obviously, because I'm not picking anybody from this one. So I think it's LA all the way, and everybody else is going to be looking up at them.
Okay.
And we will do the individual awards we'll do after the rest of the National League. So that wraps up the NL West. Keefus likes more teams in it than I do, and we will see who's right come the end of September. Make sure you check us out right here on Muscle Sport TV on YouTube. And the next episode will be the NL Central. See you then.
See you then.